All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to tackle two of the biggest headaches for anyone new to Python, just messy data everywhere and writing the same code over and over again. We're going to unlock a couple of really powerful tools that will clean up your projects and, honestly, just make you a much happier and more efficient coder. Let's get to it. Does this feel familiar? If you're new to coding, I'm guessing this hits pretty close to home. You start a project, everything's going great, and then suddenly you're just drowning in a sea of variables. Or maybe you find yourself copying and pasting the same chunk of code again and again. It's a super common struggle, but the good news is Python has some absolutely brilliant solutions to get us out of this mess. So let's look at a classic example. We need to store some information about a user. Okay, simple enough. We make a variable for their name, another one for their age, and one for their city. Seems fine, right? But what happens when we need to add another user, and then another, and another? All of a sudden, we're trying to keep track of tons of variables, and our code is just a tangled disaster waiting to happen. There has to be a better way. Now, some of you are probably thinking, aha, I know, I'll just use a list. And you know what? That's a great instinct. It's for sure an improvement. We've actually managed to group all of that related data together, which is a huge step in the right direction. But as you're about to see, we're not quite there yet. And this is exactly where lists start to cause problems. Just imagine coming back to this code in a week. You see Hamza, okay, that's a name. You see Karachi, that's a city. But what on earth is 25? Is that their age, their high score in a game, the number of cats they own? Without any context, the data is basically meaningless. And that is a recipe for some really nasty bugs down the line. And this brings us to our first superpower of the day, the Python dictionary. Dictionaries are a total game changer because they let us store data with that missing piece, context. Instead of just a bunch of floating values in a list, we can create these wonderful key value pairs that give our data meaning and structure. You know, the name dictionary is absolutely perfect. It's the best way to think about it. Just like in a real dictionary you'd find in a library, you have a key, that's the word you look up, and you have a value, that's the definition. It's the exact same idea in Python. We use a key, like the word age, to instantly find its value, which is 25. It's such a simple idea, but it's going to completely change how you handle data. So let's just take a look at the before and after. On the left, you've got the chaos of all those separate variables, and on the right, the beautiful clarity of a dictionary. All of our users' info is neatly packed together with crystal clear labels for every single piece of data. This isn't just about making code look prettier. It's about making it smarter, way more readable, and so much easier to work with. So how do we actually make one of these magical things? It's surprisingly simple. You just start with curly braces. Inside, you create your key value pairs. The key, which is usually a string in quotes, is followed by a colon and then its value. You just separate each pair with a comma, and that's it. You've officially made a dictionary. It's really that easy. But the real magic of dictionaries is just how flexible they are. Let's say you need to update a value. No problem, just refer to the key and give it a new value. But here's the really cool part. If you try to update a key that doesn't even exist yet, Python just goes ahead and creates it for you. This means you use the exact same simple code to both change and add data. It's a small thing, but trust me, it makes a huge difference. All right, we've officially conquered messy data using dictionaries. Awesome. But what about that other big problem, that nagging feeling of repetition? Well, this brings us to the second superpower we're unlocking today, loops. Get ready to automate all the boring stuff and let your code do the heavy lifting for you. Just look at this. Imagine you need to print the numbers from 1 to 5. Without a loop, you'd literally have to write a separate print line for every single number. Now, what if you had to print to 100 or 1,000? It's not just tedious, it's a terrible way to code. It's inefficient and practically begging for typos and errors. But what if I told you we could do all that printing, in just 2 lines of code? Well, with a simple for loop, we can tell Python, hey, you do the hard work. We just give it a range of numbers, and it will go through every single one, printing it out for us. This is the power of automation, and it is an absolute game changer. So what's actually happening here? Think of a for loop like your own personal little robot assistant. You give it a list of things to work on, like a list of numbers, and one single instruction, like print this out. The robot will then go through each item on the list, one by one, and perform that action until it runs out of items. It's a simple idea, but it is incredibly powerful. Let's look at another quick example. Just like we went through a range of numbers, we can do the exact same thing with a list of names. With one little for loop, we can tell Python to print every single name in our list. And the best part? It doesn't matter if there are 5 names or 5,000 names in that list, the code stays exactly the same. That is the beauty of loops. So, for loops are fantastic when we know exactly how many times we need to do something. But what if we don't? What if we need to keep doing something until a certain condition changes? Well, that's where while loops come in. A while loop just keeps on running as long as its condition is true. Think of it like a video game. You keep playing while you still have lives left. Once you run out of lives, the condition is false and the loop stops. It's the perfect tool for when you don't know the exact number of repeats. So, let's recap our new programming superpowers. First, with dictionaries, we can bring order to data chaos, organizing everything into clean, easy-to-understand structures. And second, with loops, we can automate the boring stuff, freeing ourselves from the misery of repetitive code. These aren't just a couple of neat tricks. They are fundamental tools that will absolutely make you a more powerful and efficient programmer. Now that you have these new superpowers in your coding tool belt, a whole new world of possibilities has just opened up. You can tackle bigger, more complex projects, you can write cleaner code, and you can build way more powerful applications. So really, the only question left is, what amazing thing are you going to build first?